Hi, I'm Mary.
And I'm Katie, and this is The Housewife Did It.
Pop Culture Edition.
Woo!
This is an audio medium. You can't just do the hand
I can to you.
sign.
Yeah. I always I always hear myself going, "Mary, you seem suspicious of that." Because I'm just
hmm
looking at your face. But I
Yeah,
feel like I have to tell the audience on audio Mary looks suspicious of that.
yeah. Give a full description of my face at that moment.
Mary has now scowled. Okay.
Alright.
So, we got three major topics and then the little ones
Mhm,
to start. So,
mhm,
first, in some kind of sad news, I heard a rumor
mhm.
that Aaron from Roni donates to Donald Trump. So, all of my excitement about her. So that sucks.
Yeah.
Also, did you see this paparazzi video of, I mean, there's been a lot, but which is also why are they doing paparazzi videos of Tom Sandoval while they're filming? But,
Yeah, I didn't see it. I did when you told me about it. I can picture exactly how this went down,
mm hmm.
like how he said it and everything, but I haven't seen it.
Okay. Apparently, on Nick Vile's podcast, he had
hmm
said that Tom Sandoval snuck photos of him and Raquel into Special Forces,
hmm
and was showing people pictures of them.
hmm
Um, and so paparazzi asked Tom about this, and basically his
hmm
response was well, I wasn't showing them off as a badge of honor. So I guess that means he definitely did sneak them in. Which wasn't Nick's point, I don't think. He was just trying to say I would have liked to have pictures of my fiance. Um,
Yeah.
but he did say the way that Tom talked about Raquel, it did seem like he has an emotional connection to her. It wasn't bragging, it was whatever. But then in the same
But
paparazzi,
that it sounds like they're still together.
I don't really know. Plus, I don't technically know when this was filmed.
That's
Or,
true.
and Nick said that Tom seemed defeated by all of this and very aware that people hated him. So I don't know if he was trying to show it to say look, we had a real relationship.
Yeah.
Which is just not really the place for that. That's not,
Yeah, it's weird.
yeah. But then in the same paparazzi video, Tom makes a joke about how, because they were asking do you even look at each other, you and Ariana? Do you talk to each other? Do you still avoid each other in the home? And he was like, no, we don't make eye contact when we have sex now. And and then he was like, just kidding. And then Billy Lee is in the background. You could see her delayed reaction, and then she starts laughing with him to try to be like, it was so funny. It was just a joke.
Oh,
Weird.
she makes me so mad.
Yeah. Speaking of Nick Viall, he and his fiance announced that they are having a baby.
hmm
Other Bachelor Nation news, Abigail and Noah from Bachelor in Paradise are engaged. She got proposed to and then gifted Taylor Swift tickets in the same, like, at least couple
Amazing.
days. Yeah. And then sadly, Caitlin Bristow and Jason Tartick confirm the rumors that they have broken up. She did tell a TMZ person that the door is not completely closed. So,
hmm
interesting.
Her ex fiance is also having a baby.
Yes. So weird. Sean,
Yeah.
so weird.
I didn't even know he was dating someone.
He wasn't.
Oh,
He said they were not dating. Um, this is an ex
but
that.
they are now.
It seems I mean they posted the announcement together. Um,
Yeah, like the
so
way
they're
he's talked about her, then it seems like they are.
yeah, they might be now, and she came on his podcast and talked about it. But I think he had said basically she was an ex girlfriend that he hooked up with on and off, and it wasn't planned, but
hmm
they're fine with it. Um, and they're at least like gonna co-parent, it seems. So
See.
Probably the most obvious news, I guess, is that 1989 Taylor's version was announced at the 8-9 show as suspected.
Mm-hmm.
The last show of the first US leg of the Eras Tour. All of the blue outfits were killer. I really wish she had done a blue Reputation outfit, but whatever.
Or any other Reputation outfit.
Yeah, ever. People were like posting pictures of it with holes in it, and they're like, girl, come on. Like, give us another one. It's literally ripping. But that album cover was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen everyone saying, like, this is the first one she's ever smiled in? Ever?
Yeah,
Cute.
I've seen people saying that. I've also seen people saying that there was a different picture that was taken when the original 1989 album was photographed that she almost used where she is smiling, but she was insecure about her smile, so she chose a different one.
Yeah.
I've also seen some people kind of disappointed because it's the first re-release that has a title on it.
Oh.
And all the other re-releases were just photographs with no words.
I see.
So like it messes up the vibe. And then there's something else I saw people saying about. Oh, they were saying that there are 5 from the vault tracks and there are 5 birds in the background. And then I saw someone today say that all she has left to take back is her name and her reputation. And I was like, oh,
yeah,
beautiful.
I saw that. Yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah, woo.
Yeah. Like we said last week, we're gonna kind of keep some of the shows a little shorter now, just because there are so many. So we're gonna kind of just update on who has been kicked off of shows and things that happen. So I'm gonna quickly recap Claim to Fame. Anyway, so Gabriel and Chris won this week's Claim to Fame comp. So it was like a partner comp, and they won, which makes a 3-peat for Gabriel. And the only clue left to see was Gabriel. So I know you were asking earlier on in the season, can they view clues that have already been seen? They cannot, apparently. So Gabriel really wanted to win because he was like, I want to be the one to see my clue. So him and Chris get to see the clue, and basically it said it had 10 babies. It said like someone who has 10 babies and drum star. And Gabriel feels like it's so obvious. Like, he's like, who the hell else in pop culture right now has 10 fucking babies? And no one can figure it out. Everyone's like, this is like ridiculous. Nobody has 10 babies. It's not true. Nick Cannon does.
Yeah.
Then Chris and Gabriel also get to choose who's in the bottom 2. And they choose Chris and Hugo. Hugo is chosen as the guesser, and he very confidently guesses that Chris is related to Elton John, which is incorrect. So Hugo went home. It's revealed that his grandfather is Jimmy Carter. He cried talking about President Carter being in hospice at the time it was filmed. He is still in hospice now. Also, I cannot let this segment go without mentioning how stupid they all looked in this episode, because they took the phrase multicolored dream coat and came up with Elton John.
Okay.
They were like, residency in Vegas. He wears colorful coats. 70s star. Boom. Gabriel is the only person to bring up Joseph and the Coat of Many Colors, aka the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which is what the reference is supposed to be. I felt like was very clear. It had said the words Dreamcoat, and everyone laughs at him.
And who is that
then
about?
They bring up it also Donny Osmond.
Oh, okay.
They also, so he has a residency in Vegas playing Joseph.
Yeah.
In Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. So the other thing is that the same clue that says that about like the coat says that Chris's celebrity relative is from Utah. So that's like their next question is they're like, is Elton John from Utah? And they managed to convince themselves that he is.
Nice.
Yeah. As one a big theater fan, I was like, if I see the words Dreamcoat, that's I'm immediately gonna think of that show. But as a diehard Elton John fan, how do you not know that man is British?
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Um, so that's what happened on the show.
Mm-hmm. And
But off the show,
apparently Hugo and Olivia are dating.
yeah, did not see that coming.
Yeah.
I asked Sammy, I was like, if you could imagine two people from Claim to Fame dating, who would it be? And he was like, obviously, like, first guess would be Cole and Shane, but I know that that's not how it went down. And he was like, Hugo and Olivia? And I was like, you looked it up. And he was like, no, I didn't. I was like, I would never have imagined that
Mm-mm.
together.
No.
Or that to end up happening.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call them that.
Given.
But they look so happy.
Yeah, they do, but also, like, given their relatives, I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Ooh. But good for them.
Yeah.
All right. First big section is a show that we don't watch regularly. But there's been big news from Below Deck Down Under that if you keep up with Bravo, you've probably heard. 2 crew members were fired for essentially inappropriate behavior with other crew members. Luke. Now Mary has since watched and caught up, so I'm summarizing based on like the news. Mary will give us the rest, but Luke seems to have gotten into bed naked with Margot, who was very drunk, like passed out drunk. Like what I had read was that she was so drunk that people were like babysitting her that night, and like at the first moment that they left her, Luke climbed into bed with her. Production had to remove him, and he was fired from the boat. Another crewmate, Laura, then got very defensive about Luke, saying that he should have just gotten a warning, which, like, baby, is not how this works. When you put someone in danger, you don't get a warning. So, like, your 25 to 30 years of living is your warning. That's it. So, apparently she had displayed similar behavior with Adam, and basically where she had ignored his multiple declines to her advances, she was also fired. So,
yeah. So, kind of to, like, I guess, inform you what exactly happened with Luke and Margot. Yes, she was very drunk. When they got back to the boat, Aisha, who is Margot's chief stew, laid with her until she fell asleep because she was so drunk. And Aisha said she told her in the van that she didn't like the way Luke was looking at her, and that she was going to stay with her until she could confirm that she was safely asleep. So she did. She left. I think like the power went out or something, or the lights went out, and when they came back on, production was in there banging on the door telling Luke he had to get out, and Aisha followed them, and he ran past her completely naked, ran into his room and locked the door and refused to come out. Aisha went into Margot's room and climbed into the bed with her and woke her up and asked if she knew what had happened, and Margot had no idea that he had been in there at all. So Aisha told her what happened, and she was still like, she was kind of half asleep, it seemed like she was like, he was naked, like, oh my god, like what happened, like did he do something? And she was like, no, like he's gone now. And she like laid with her again until she went back to sleep. Aisha also in her seasons, because she is the chief stew for both seasons of Down Under, but she has been on other seasons of Below Deck, and she has talked about her history with sexual assault, and she talked about it again that like this has happened to her in a very similar situation, and it was like very triggering for her. So she went and told the captain, who she says is like her brother, and she said, "We can't get him out of the room. His roommate is having to sleep in a guest cabin." And he went and got the keys and busted in the room and told him to put his clothes on and kicked him out of the boat and made him go sleep in a hotel. So, um, I'm like really proud of how Aisha and Jason handled it. I am a little disappointed that no one in production disclosed Laura's assault on Adam. What happened with Laura and Adam was that she followed him into his room. He was repeatedly telling her she could not be there, that he was going to sleep, that she could not sleep in his bed. She needed to go to her own cabin. And she was not listening. She would not leave the room. And so he put on his pajamas, he climbed into his bunk, which is the top bunk, and she started telling him that he couldn't get up there because it'd be too hard for her to get up there. And he was like, okay, yeah, I don't want you here.
Mm-hmm.
And then she did climb into his bunk. She straddled him and she started pouring lotion on his back. And he just he like puts his head down in the pillow and he like stops like moving or saying anything. And then the same production people come in and pull her out and make her leave. So it seems like only production Laura and Adam knew about it. And I wish, because I think here's the thing. I think if Aisha hadn't told Jason about Luke, I think they would have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they would have let Jason go not knowing that had happened. And by the end of the episode, I don't think anyone except production, Laura and Adam, knows what happened there. And that's not why she was fired.
Yeah.
Because Jason didn't know. Um, I actually didn't know there was a second season until I heard what had happened on this episode. So I watched it from the start, and I got bad vibes from them right away. In the first episode or the second episode, they're at a bar, and Luke kisses Margot completely unprompted and catches her off guard. And she really is like not okay with it, and she says like she likes a confident man, but like that was not right. And Laura was like consistently disregarding Adam's feelings, and she was drinking on the job. By the end of the episode, Adam actually said that he felt bad that he thinks she got fired because of what he said, which is like really sad that he thinks it's his fault.
Yeah.
Overall, this episode was like nauseating to watch. And like listening to Margot talk about it with everyone was like heart-wrenching, because she had to learn about it from other people and try to piece it together, and she kept saying like she didn't know how she felt about it because she didn't remember it.
Mm-hmm.
Since the episode, several cast members have posted on Instagram about the incident, and it is very clear that everyone except Luke and Laura are rallying around Margot. I'm going to read you their captions because they're so like sweet, and I think that especially what Zarina said is super important. So Aisha said, "My little cherub, what a light of the season you were for me. Women should always support women, and I will always support you." Zarina made 2 posts about it. The first one, she said, "Women should be able to black out drunk if they want to. We should be able to stand in a room naked and not have anything done, not have anyone do anything to us." And in her other post, she said, "Sending all the love and light to my dear friend Margot. Your courage is truly inspiring during this journey and challenging time. It is a stark reminder of the importance of respecting boundaries and treating each other with kindness and dignity. We must stand together and make it clear that such behavior you had to go through is never acceptable. Sexual misconduct is a serious issue, not just in yachting, but in many industries. It is crucial that we continue to shine a light on this problem and work towards creating safer environments for everyone. Remember, Margot, you are strong, resilient, and deserving of respect. Your bravery will inspire others to speak up and take action. We will stand together, united against any form of harassment or abuse. Captain Jason said, "Thank you for all the lovely messages, and I have great sympathy for the messages for those that were triggered by these episodes. I applaud the production team and crew, and I sincerely hope that all parties involved use this time to reflect and use this opportunity to not only change, but help others. Everyone has the chance in life to grow, learn from experiences, either good or bad, and become the best humans. Respect boundaries." And Harry said, "Dearest Margot, what you went through should never have happened. I am so sorry that you had to go through something like that. I know that since it happened, you have been recovering and getting on and living your awesome life, which is great to see considering the situation. Keep pushing through and striving in life. Good things are coming your way. I know it. Love you always." I will also say, Harry had just posted a picture with Luke and tagged him in it, which makes me feel some type of way.
Yeah.
Like, that person should be cut out of your life.
Yeah.
And finally, Laura made one of the most tone-deaf apologies I have ever seen, taking to the gram to say, "My sincere apologies to Adam. I did not realize I made him feel uncomfortable, and no one should be put in that position. And to Margot to not been able to empathize. I was 29 when the show was filmed. 30 was my life changer. I am 31 now, and am watching it as all of you, an entertainment show."
You know, we're not entertained.
I'm not. Laura can get absolutely fucked. Like, from the bottom of my heart, she needs to seek help. She needs to learn, and she needs to actually grow up. Essentially, the reason she was fired didn't really have as much to do with Adam as the fact that she kept pulling Margot aside to tell her how sad she was that Luke had been fired. She was like pulling her to the side and saying, like, "It's not fair. I feel so sad. Why don't you feel sad? I feel bad for him. He was playing." Like, you, at one point, she says, "If it had been me, I would have welcomed it." And Margot is like, "I don't feel that way." But like, not even just like Margot is trying to bring it up and Laura is like uncomfortable and responding in a weird way. She is like going and finding Margot and pulling her aside to tell her these things.
Yeah, and it's like the fact that you would have welcomed it is what makes it two very different situations.
Right.
Because if you
And she
welcomed it,
says,
we
when she
wouldn't be
says
worried
that,
about boundaries.
right. When she says that, she also says, like, "Maybe I should have hooked up with him and kept him happy so that this wouldn't have happened to you."
You should have hooked up with someone that wanted to hook up with you, yes. And Adam wasn't that, and Margot wasn't that. So
it was frustrating because I feel like that's something that everyone who's experienced sexual assault has heard. Like, "I feel bad for him. He didn't mean it. Like, he was just kidding," or
that
whatever.
sucks that
It's
one
so
decision is going to change
infuriating.
his life forever.
Yeah. It's so infuriating, and like, it feels so simple to think like she was uncomfortable. This was unwanted. That is like such an overstep of boundaries and personal space. How are you like trying to justify it? It feels like so simple. It feels like people who disagree are like straight up dumb, that they can't see the simplicity of that. And it's also like things that I feel like survivors of sexual assault tell themselves in like the lowest points of recovering from a sexual assault. Like, and so it was very frustrating to watch someone put those ideas in Margot's head over and over again. And that's essentially why Laura was fired. Aisha and Margot told Aisha what she said, and Aisha told Jason. Jason asked her about it, and she said that it was very upsetting. Um, Aisha also told him that Adam seemed uncomfortable around Laura. So Jason asked Adam about that, and he didn't tell him what happened the night before. He just said that she's kind of all over him, and he's trying to let her down easy, and that's why she was fired. She does tell Jason several times that he is making a mistake, and he said, "Okay."
I can live with that.
Yeah. The previews for the rest of the season hint at Margot demonstrating signs of having a drinking problem. There's one
More
video of her
likely
sneaking.
her gaining a drinking problem.
Yeah. There's one video of her sneaking a shot when making a guest drink. Another of Aisha telling her she smelled like alcohol. And the final video of that part showing her having to discuss it with Jason and him saying it's a fireable offense. We learned a few seasons of Med back that consumption of any alcohol or unapproved prescription drugs on board a yacht is against maritime law. So I will say Laura was doing it too, and in front of Margot, and telling Margot that she should do it too. So maybe she just like thought it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, but she committed other fireable offenses, so.
Yeah. So I really hope that the season ends with her like getting what she's needed since this happened. I hope that the discussion about drinking is something that they can resolve. I'm like, her and Aisha still seem really close. Like, she like has talked a lot about how thankful she is for Captain Jason. So I think even if it does end with her being fired because of it, like, I think that they all still have her back, which is nice. But yeah, it was very upsetting to watch.
Yeah. All right, on to the Bachelorette. No Luke's here, but don't worry, we're not done with them.
Yeah, we're gonna come back to the Lukes.
Yeah, but too many lovely black men on the Bachelorette for there to be a Luke. So no surprise to me that Xavier went home. It's not exactly how I suspected that would happen.
Yeah.
I was so proud of her, though. So, Xavier admits to Charity that he had cheated on not just a previous girlfriend, but his most recent girlfriend. Which for me felt too little too late, considering that they had already had this exact conversation where she shared that infidelity is her biggest fear in a relationship, and he basically just said, like, she had nothing to worry about. Me and Mary had, like, slightly differing opinions on this when we talked about it last, that, like, I did not feel like his answer really was enough, and she just kind of, like, accepted it. But then I also said, like, we don't know what's said that doesn't air, but he essentially just was like, that won't happen. Period. I really, really think that, like, while that may have been a little early in a traditional relationship to tell someone about your past with infidelity, I think, like, given the context of the conversation, it feels like a lie that you did not mention it. Like, I would look back and be like, like, I don't...
Like you said, it's not a problem for you.
Yeah, you
but
sat there...
like it is.
Yeah, you sat there and looked me in my eye and acted like there's no reason that this would be a problem. So, either way, it continued to get worse. So he said that he cheated on his girlfriend multiple times over the span of 5 days. He said...
That sounds so crazy.
But he said it like it was better. She said, was it multiple times? And he said, it was multiple times over the span of 5 days. Like, as if, like, it should make her feel better that, like, you weren't doing it over, like, years.
Yeah. I feel like what he ends up saying about it, I feel like I got a full picture of exactly what happened. Like, I know exactly how he cheated on his girlfriend.
Yes. So, he says that he's learned from this experience and bettered himself, although he could not identify how he has done that. To which I say, this girl is a therapist. I work with therapists. That is not gonna work. Like, you don't get to say, like, I've really been working on myself since then, and then not have a way that you've worked on yourself. Like, she sees right through that. She's like, what did you do to get better? And this man can't even throw out the buzzwords. He can't even be like, I went to therapy. He's like, I just learned that it was wrong. So, despite the fact that he has learned from this experience and bettered himself, supposedly, Xavier still expressed concern that he might do it again. Essentially, if he was ever around the boys and that type of shit, I think is a good paraphrase. Like, I just don't know what I would do when the boys are around doing that type of shit. Which, like, even if you're around the hottest girls in the world and drunk with your boys every single day, she wants to know that it's not that difficult for you to not cheat on her.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. My friend and I were talking about Xavier's exit at lunch the other day. And she was saying that she pegged him as a player from the start. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I think the knitting really fooled me. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, he's a baby. He knits. Like, I really was stumped by him. I do agree that he should have told her sooner. Mm-hmm. I appreciated that he admitted it at any point.
Yeah.
I thought it should have been when she asked. Mm-hmm. But he really lost me when she was like, I don't know how I feel about this overnight thing. And he was basically like, no, we need to have this overnight date so that we can strengthen ourselves together. And I was like, okay, this is icky.
Listeners, if you can hear some outrageous rain and thunder right now, I apologize. But Mary, continue.
It made me feel icky because I felt like not only was he not looking good, admitting that, let's be honest, that he was on a boys trip with his guys, and over the span of 5 days he fucked some other people when he had a girlfriend, and then he lied to Charity about it. But then he was like, do you know what would fix this?
If we fucked.
If we have sex.
Yeah. Well, it's also, yeah, like, I was thinking it when he said it. I was like, oh no, buddy, you're going to need to clarify that, because she's going to think you just want to have sex. I thought he would, like, follow it up with, like, we need time off camera. We could talk more about this. We could, I could explain my side of things. Like, I thought, and, like, he did not. He did not say that. Like, he basically was, like, in order for me to know, yes, in order for me to know if I will want to get engaged, if I will be able to not cheat on you, I will need to have sex with you first. Yeah. And, like, I'm so glad that she was like, no.
If the sex is so bomb, I won't cheat on you.
Yeah.
That's what I need to know.
You just told national television that that it was your girlfriend's fault that you cheated on her.
Ridiculous.
But, yeah, I will say, like, I did kind of figure that he was, like, a player type. Not that I got that vibe, but, like, I figured she was getting that vibe because she could not let go of him being, like, her ex. And obviously we don't know her ex, so I didn't know if she just thought he looked like him or if, like, he spoke like him. But I'm kind of feeling like he just gave the overall vibes of him. And maybe she just was like...
bad boy vibes.
Yeah, she was onto it the whole time. So... Obviously, she loved Joey and Dotun. I don't have much to say about their individual dates, except that they went well, and it would be a very hard decision between those two. I did like that her and Joey were able to connect. So they talked about the Uncle Joe stuff, saying that Joey wasn't, like, himself. And they were able to kind of connect on how, like, they're people pleasers and they're outgoing, but that can, like, backfire because they can either, like, crash or, like, have anxiety about it. And that, like, while that's not something most people would realize about them, that does make it a little hard to, like, be in a relationship with them. And I think, like, as he was talking, I was thinking, like, oh, I bet Charity, like, has that experience a lot too. And then she was like, oh, I have that a lot too. And I think, like, that happens for people that are, like, charismatic and, like, good at speaking to people, but then, you burn out or you feel, like, anxious later and you have to process that on your own. So I thought that was nice. Like, a more in-depth conversation than we usually get on Bachelorette. And then Aaron comes back. And she basically admits that she still isn't 100% confident that sending him home was the right choice. Which, baby girl, I wish you had just not fucking said that shit when you sent him home. Like, girl. But I think that that is fair in this experience. When you get toward the end, that, like, you never really know. If you get to the end and you pick someone who ends up being awful, like, you find out later they're a racist, or you find out later that they came on for fame. Like, I think it's natural that as you're getting to the end and it's all guys that you really like, to think, like, am I sending home someone that if I could have given us a few more weeks, we could have gotten there. But I also think she admits that she's falling for Aaron, but 100% in love with both Joey and Dotun.
Right.
So at the end of the day, she's just further along with the other two. So unless Aaron just has so much potential that he can bypass and get to 100%, apparently like 200% in love in the next week or so, then like it's not going to change anything. Yeah. So I don't really like, I don't know. Anyway, so I didn't really think she was going to bring him back, but given the previews that show him wearing a suit, he at least stays for the rose ceremony, possibly even meets her parents and goes all the way to the proposals. I'm hoping he doesn't, like, get an overnight, like, date. I'm assuming he doesn't, but we've seen this before, but it's also my least favorite thing, so I do hope she doesn't keep him, but I also really hope they don't make him go to a rose ceremony just for her to send him home and basically, like, take Xavier's spot, because that's always such a waste of our time. But they do it sometimes. But I don't know, I feel like this season was going very, like, traditionally with not a lot of twists. They were trying to bring us back to, like, this is a serious dating show. So I guess, like, this was bound to happen. They had to bring us some drama. But stupid.
Yeah. I feel like it's obviously, like, super unfair to the lead to come back after they
especially this late.
Right. I get, like, the notion of, like, fighting for love, especially because, like, Charity has said that multiple times that's what she's looking for.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if she wanted him there, she would have sent for him. Like, I feel like he's not the only one who can change his mind, you know? She's the lead. If she wants him back, she can say, like, I think I made a mistake. Can we get Aaron back?
Yeah.
And I agree. I think if she keeps him around, he'll still end up being the next to go.
Yeah.
And it's a waste of everyone's time. But good news is they did restore him in our fantasy league. So good for us.
Yeah, I guess.
Get us some points, Aaron. But yeah, I feel like I think she seemed to be struggling with it. I think more because she felt bad for him.
I think she realized, like, oh, I did say that to him.
Yeah.
Like, I did tell him I wasn't sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But, and, like, how unfair would it be to him, too, to go get in a rose ceremony and she just sends you right home again? Like, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
So, I hope she's just like, hey, dude, no.
Yeah. I don't know. But I also, just a final thought on Charity is that, like, I do think this is, like, not that I dislike Charity, but I think this is, like, a toxic habit of hers that I don't want to shame women that this is what they're looking for. Like, I'll preemptively apologize. But, like, this desire to have men, like, fight for you also comes with men fighting the decisions that you made. And so it's, like, this weird thing she's done where, like, for example, when she's telling Xavier to leave and he's like, I guess I'll get in the car if you want me to. And she's like, yep. Or he's like, I guess you can put me in the car. And she's like, yep, I am. And, like, she doesn't want him to question her decision. But it's also, like, she's also flattered when people say, like, no, I want you so bad. And so I think it's, like, hard to have both. Like, you want to be strong in your opinions. You want them to say, like, nope, I trust Charity. And if that's what she thinks right for her, then I'm going to, like, honor that or whatever. But it's also, like, she's like, ooh, Aaron loves me so much that he came back here. And, like, that's flattering to me, you know? And I think that's where you get people like Brayden. who were like not sure, like, does she want me to leave? Like, does she want,
Right.
is this a test? Like, does she want me to fight for her? Like, I just don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think ever since Luke came back on
Mm-hmm.
Hannah's season, like coming back, just like
It's
seeing,
disrespectful.
yeah,
Yeah.
seeing that made me realize like it is
Yeah.
disrespectful. And again, like if production is allowing you as an eliminated cast member to go back and fight for love, I can guarantee you they would also allow the lead to make sure you get back there so that they can
Mm-hmm.
give you a second chance. And if they're not doing it, no,
Yeah.
it's not your turn.
Yeah. Okay. On to Big Brother. Um, we'll get to the Luke. But first, I guess a quick recap. Riley is HOH and keeps Kirsten and Felicia on the block. My husband feels this was a racist decision.
It look,
It
I'm not
wasn't
gonna
good
lie.
options, okay?
Every time
There's two
that
black
somebody
people
in the
or people
first
of
week,
color.
every time somebody in the first week puts up two people of color, I'm like,
Suspicious.
interesting. But she did also take down a person of color. It wasn't
Yeah.
like those like she picked them on her own.
Yes.
You know.
By competition, 3 out of 4 of the people on the block were people of color.
Yeah,
So,
maybe it was an anti-feminist move.
yeah, maybe. Bye,
She only took
boys.
down the boy.
Mm-hmm. Um, so Heisem wins the veto.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Heisem. And
I feel like there's not a lot of people I dislike right now,
I agree.
but he obviously pissed me off.
Yes, we'll get there. So Corey is so weird about Sari. So he's talking to Sari about like her being on Survivor and stuff. And she's right. Like she says to the diary room, like, don't come in here essentially telling me how big of a threat I am and how like well versed you are not only in like my history, but also just CBS competition shows. Like now we already knew you were a super fan, but now it's like you watch all of these shows, like, ooh.
Being weird.
Yeah, stop. But
yeah, when he was talking about her when it was first revealed that she was the 17th house guest, the way he was talking about her in the DR, I was like waiting for him to say like, I know Jared is her son.
Yeah.
Because he was just like talking about her like incessantly. And I was like, surely he is going to say that he knows, and then he never does. I was like, you're just being a weirdo.
Yeah, and with as many super fans as there are, I'm surprised more of them weren't in the situation Izzy's in, where Izzy was like, I follow her on Instagram. Like, I'm surprised that no one else follows her on Instagram and, like, would have seen that. So, that's weird.
I will say, I did look at her Instagram, and she has now deleted all the pictures of her and Jared, so I don't know when she did that.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you've been a Survivor fan for years.
Right, like, Izzy must have been following her well before this.
Yeah, yeah. I also liked that when Corey tells her, I promise I will treat you like a real human being, and she says, well, you should probably get to know me first before you figure out how to treat me. Because she's like, this boy has not let me fucking talk. Like, he's telling me about myself. He's telling me how much basically of a threat I am. And then he's like, but don't you worry. Like, I'll treat you like your own person. And she's like, will you? I do not believe you.
I will say, I have never really... I mean, I watched Survivor growing up because our parents watched it. But I'm not really a big Survivor person now.
Yeah.
I have no idea who Suri is. But I like her. She's very honest. And I really like her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would not have known who that was, to be completely honest. Like, if I was in the Big Brother house, I'd be like, who's that?
Hi, 17th house guest. Yeah.
Why are you special?
In big news,
But
what?
oh wait, also,
Oh,
sorry. When I looked at her Instagram, she won season 1 of that Traders show.
yes, yeah,
I didn't so she was in that too.
yeah,
That like Kate Chastain
yeah.
was in and
Jax.
like all like Kristen Doty, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know she won, but I knew she was on that.
I think she won. I may be wrong.
So the Big Brother news.
Mm-hmm.
I am a little shocked that it happened so quickly. We've not even been here a week, my friends. So, after Wednesday night's episode aired, it came out online that Luke was expelled from the show for using the N word. And I was going to say, like, on camera, but the whole show is on camera and they are aware of that fact. So,
yeah.
You shouldn't anyway.
You dumbass.
Yeah. So, I did see the feed clip, which obviously on Thursday's episode they did end up, like, showing it. But I had seen it before that, and it wasn't like Luke wasn't being aggressive, he wasn't being malicious, but it was very clear that he uses this word in his everyday vocabulary, and then it just like spilled out so casually. And obviously just like feeling that comfortable using that word is very concerning. He apologized so in the room were Corey, Heisem, and Jared. He apologized to Jared. Jared did like play it down quite a bit, and Luke pretty much like completely backtracks from his apology. Like as soon as he realizes Jared's like not mad, like he's like, "Oh yeah, man, I know people that would have been mad," and it's like, ooh, like he deserves to be mad. But all of the guys, except for Heisem, kind of like awkwardly chuckle, and they tell Luke that he needs to go lay down. Maybe this means they had been drinking. I don't know. They just were like, okay, Luke, I think you're done for the night. You could tell that Corey, Heisem, and Jared were all very uncomfortable and really did not know what to say. Strangely, though, on Thursday's episode, when they tell the house guests that Luke was expelled, Heisem claims that he did not hear this. Which I just think, given the look on his face, feels obviously untrue. I don't know if he like feels bad that he didn't tell people, or maybe I was thinking like maybe he even like went and complained to production, and so it's like that like embarrassing feeling. But like I feel very confident that he heard it. So I think that's weird.
Yeah, it is. I agree with everything you just said. I also saw the clip before Thursday episode aired, and I almost missed him say it because it came out so quickly. And you can tell like as soon as he says it, he realizes this is not the place to say it. But yeah, it just like rolls off his tongue in the conversation. If that word is rolling off a white person's tongue in a conversation about a cheese bed, it is not their first time saying it. He says that word all the time.
Did you notice, I just thought of this, that he actually said to Jared after the other two guys left, he said like, I didn't say what you think I said. Like on Thursday's episode, he was kind of saying he said something else, like some other word. But I couldn't tell if he was like being facetious because he like if he was kidding because he knew they both knew that he said it, or if he actually thought he was pulling one over on Jared and like convincing him he didn't say that. Because then it seems like they did think. I just don't get it.
No, I honestly like.
I think he panicked.
Besides the fact that he's like racist, he's really weird.
He's so stupid.
And like half of the time that he's been talking on the show, I have not really understood what he's talking about. And so like I really don't know what to think about it. I do remember him saying that, but I really can't figure out what he meant because it was just weird. I wish we could have seen Jared in the video as well, because Hisam and Corey looked so shocked and uncomfortable, and you could tell by Jared's voice that he was angry about it. And just like this is like before the episode on Thursday is what I was thinking. It was like really frustrating watching Luke try to laugh it off.
Which I feel like I get, like, he panicked because he's on camera and because he just said this in front of a black man. But, like, he might have still been expelled, but it could have been a very different conversation if he had said, like, oh my God, I don't know why that word rolls off my tongue so easily. I need to remove it from my vocabulary. Like, I'm so sorry. Not just that I said it in your presence, but that I said it at all. Like, if he had been, I don't remember the guy from last year that got in trouble for
Kyle.
trying to make an all-white alliance on accident, kind of. Like, he was so apologetic, which really made a difference. And I think, like, it was so weird watching him just be like, oh man, I'm so glad you're so cool about it.
Yeah. I think that is, like, also where we can see the difference in the intention.
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to defend Kyle, because, like, you should be smart enough to know that that was not a good idea to say that, and that's icky. But I think you can tell by the way he reacted to everyone being upset about it that he really didn't mean it that way, and that he, like, really felt bad that he hurt people.
He really thought he was just strategizing.
Yes. Yeah. And you can tell by the way that Luke reacted that he really wants to get away with this, because it's something that he does regularly and is probably going to continue to do. I will say, good on CBS, though, for expelling him. This isn't something they've ever done before.
Yep.
With racial slurs, comments, or racially based actions that are thrown around on Big Brother, which happens every freaking year.
Yeah. I know you have one that you're going to mention, but I will say, I don't know if the difference is that, like, it is rarely, like, the derogatory word that's used. It's usually, like, something that's, like, a microaggression, or it's like, ooh, that's, like, kind of weird. But I think, like, I mean, good for them. This isn't the first time the N-word's been used, so good for them for doing what they should.
Yeah. Every time I think about, like, racist things happening on Big Brother, I think of Aaron. And about Julie Chen absolutely annihilating her when she's eliminated. And she's like, oh my God, Julie, I love you. And, like, but, like, the fact that Julie had so many things ready for her when she walked out that door, like, she should have been expelled at some point.
I know. We were all just, like,
crazy,
sitting around waiting. And, like, part of me is sad we don't get to see her annihilate Luke. But also, like, we were just sitting there waiting for her to get evicted so that we could see her reckoning with Julie. She should have just been kicked out. Yeah.
Like, the second she was saying shit about Helen, I was like, Julie's gonna kill her. The video of Luke did bring up people mentioning the fact that it was rumored that Memphis called David the N-word on the season that they were in together. Like called him that word, not, like, said it the way Luke said it. But CBS claimed at the time that they launched an investigation into it, and they said that the video in question that people were bringing up proved he didn't say it. So, like, basically they said, like, they reviewed the video that people said they heard him say it in, and that's not what he said. I did not know about this at the time. It does not shock me in any way, shape, or form. Did you know about that?
I did not. No, I didn't know about it till right this second. But
it doesn't surprise me.
Not even a little.
It wouldn't surprise me if Memphis said it. If Frank had said the N-word at any point, wouldn't have surprised me.
Honestly, it would not surprise me if Memphis went on his Instagram today and was like, yeah, I said it. I would be like, okay, great.
Yeah.
I did appreciate that Jared, I did think it was a little weird that Jared, like, basically told Corey, like, I don't want to talk about this in front of everyone. But, like, fair, I guess. I think kind of similarly last year with Kyle, they did kind of, like, let the people of color, like, decide how they felt about it.
Yeah.
So I think Jared was just trying to say, like, really, we don't need your opinion, Corey. Like, this is something that hurts only certain ones of us. So I don't know. But I did appreciate that Jared shared, like, we were all explicitly given the rules when we came here.
Yeah.
And they told us what was and was not allowed to be said. And so, unfortunately, this is a consequence for breaking the rules that he knew fully about.
Yeah.
So, which I don't know if we knew that. Like, I don't know if maybe that's newish. That, like, maybe it hasn't been explicitly in their, like, entering the house instructions. Like, you cannot say these words. So, I mean, it's good that either that's a new policy or they're at least finally following it.
Yeah. Overall, it was just, like, obviously disappointing. It was really, I think, sad to, like, have to watch Jared try to brush it off and, like, balance his gameplay with the situation.
Right.
Like, he didn't know that Luke was going to be expelled for it, and so he was, like, he said, like, I don't want to react the wrong way and for him to think I'm aggressive, and, like, for him to have to, like, strategize on that is, like, so frustrating.
Yeah.
Is also, like, very uncomfortable because, like you said, like, Luke's trying to, like, bro out with him afterwards, and I just overall frustrating. I'm just gonna keep saying it. But to watch Jared, like, sneak in how he really felt about it through, like, jokes, like, ha 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 ha, it's interesting that you seem more uncomfortable than I am right now, or like, I should say something to make you uncomfortable next. Like, and to watch him, like, have to try to play it off as a joke, like, I hated that for him. And yeah, I'm really surprised by Heisem saying he didn't hear it.
Yeah.
I even, like, I don't know. I kind of agree with Jared. I think Corey should have kept his mouth shut. I think it even kind of sounded like Corey was trying to downplay it. Like, he's like, it wasn't malicious.
Which, like, I said that too. So I don't know if Corey was just trying to, like, describe what happened.
He didn't also say, like, he shouldn't be using this word in his everyday language. That's just as bad.
Right.
So
I know, and I did think it was a little, just, like, from a game perspective, I thought, like, it was a little weird to say who was in the room. Because, like, normally in Big Brother, you would not, like, out people for being a part of a conversation. Like, people don't necessarily, and I know it's different, but, like, maybe that's why Heisem panicked. Maybe he didn't want anyone to know that he heard that and didn't say anything, or that he, I don't know. So I feel like
maybe trying to pretend he wasn't, like, actively a part of the conversation with them, like he was kind of in the back of the room or something.
Yeah. So I don't know, like, I don't know what the right answer was. Like, should just no one have said anything and just acted like they didn't know what the incident was? Obviously, in an ideal world, it would have been Jared who said, like, yep, he was talking to me and, like, it made me incredibly uncomfortable, but, you know, I don't know. But, yeah. So that, again, off to a great start, guys. We've been so impressed with this cast, and yet...
Yeah, the first thing, so I saw the news report before I had actually watched the premiere episode.
Okay.
I saw it because I was looking up the names of the cast members right before I watched the premiere, like, as it was starting, and I told my husband about it after the episode had started, and he said, like, he's like, you know, I was literally about to look over at you and say, I feel like this is the first year we're gonna get away with nobody doing anything racist. I was like,
nope.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Overall, bad week for Lukes.
Yeah.
Don't be a Luke.
Yeah, don't.
Ever.
Yeah. No surprise, Kirsten is the first to go home. she's clearly not gonna have a chance to return because Julie
Mhm.
told her about Jared and Suri being related.
Or that's the twist. They let her back in after that.
Yeah.
And
But
she has to decide how to handle it.
I will say she had a weird response. Like, that
Yeah.
apparently Suri has told them that she calls her son Jay Bleezy, and
Mhm.
Jared has told them that he goes by Jay Bleezy. So you're
Mhm.
telling me, you're admitting to me that didn't. And she's like, we didn't even think anything. Why?
Maybe
Why?
you didn't think anything of it.
Why didn't you
It
think
might not be
anything
a
of
weird
it?
thing.
Like, girl,
It
I'm
might
not
just be
saying,
you.
I'm not obviously saying that, like, there's a lot of people of color in the house this year, and
Mhm.
there's lots of shades of
Yeah.
color,
It's not just
light
they're not just
skinned.
adding
Yeah.
6 black people
Mm-hmm.
to the all of the other white people.
Yeah.
Like there's a little bit of everyone.
Yeah, so I fully on board that we didn't just assume that the young black guy is the son of the older black woman. That's great. I'm really
Yeah.
proud, guys. But when they are literally straight up fucking telling you that
Yeah.
he goes by the same nickname as her son, come on now.
At the very least, like your ears should perk up.
Mm-hmm.
And Suri even said when he was taking off the box, she was like, "That's my face up there." I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah." Well, if you hear and like I wouldn't. I don't think I would immediately think like, "Oh my god, they look exactly alike."
Yeah.
But if I knew the like Jay Bleezy thing, I might start thinking like they have the same nose.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And they are talking a lot and they seem
Yeah.
very comfortable with one. Like you would at least get the ball
Yeah.
rolling that they might know each other.
I might say, hey, Jared, what's your last name? Buddy?
You know, Cerie said all of her sons' names start with a J.
She did
Your
name
name starts
them,
with a
I
J.
will say, but she
She
obviously
did.
she did,
She did
but
name them.
yeah, I'm saying she
She didn't
did
name him.
well, she lied. I mean, she made up a different
Oh,
name. Yeah.
yeah,
So, well,
yeah.
that's all we got, guys.
Sorry, Kirsten.
Sorry, girl. Although I will say I was getting freaked out that they were about to send Felicia home already. So,
I know.
bye, Kirsten.
And they were basically like, it's because she's old.
Yeah, rude. I thought we
I
had
was
moved
like,
past that, my friends.
yeah.
All right.
I think, who's your favorite? You think?
I don't know. I don't like to decide this early.
I think my favorite right now is Izzy.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Jag.
I like Jag too.
Uh,
I like Jag and Riley together. I think they could do good things together.
I like Jag and Heisem together. I think this is my problem is that I don't usually like the like first big group, you know, so that's where I'm like not super in love with Riley. But
Yeah.
it could come later. But I will say, watching them make her shake in her boots, like when Red was like named everyone in her alliance, which was risky, but it worked because Izzy followed it right up with being like, now don't bullshit me. Like, I already know we're on separate sides of the house. And I was like, Riley, girl, you thought you was killing it. And they
Get it
all
together,
are onto
Riley.
you. Yeah, I like Izzy,
Ugh.
though. Billy thinks Izzy's a genius. And I do, too. Like, she's really, like, strategizing well. But I think we gotta dial it back, girl. A little early for that.
I think the moment I was like, "Oh my god, I love Lizzie," is when she was talking about how hot she thought Matt was, and I was like, "Is he?" And she was like so flustered.
Izzy
She
thinks
was like,
Matt's hot?
"Yes." She was like, "Now I am 99% for the ladies, but there's a 0.1% of me that is really into Matt." I was like, "Girl," like it was so funny the way she said it.
Yeah,
But
I think I like
I really
her.
like her already. I think that the way she pulled Jared aside was such a good like in the moment thinking I think that's gonna go good for her.
Yeah.
I do think she said it kind of loud.
She did. I was gonna say I don't know that she pulled him aside. He had to say like, bring it over here.
He's like, shut the fuck up, Lizzie. But yeah, I think that was really smart.
Yeah. I think it's gonna help her.
To use it against him. Like, yeah. I mean, like, use it against him in a way. Like, not to keep it to herself.
But especially because Jared and Suri are on separate sides of the house, she now has two people on each side of the house that she has a secret of.
That don't want to piss her off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like her.
Okay. All right. Goodbye, our little cherubs. Bye.
Bye.